horses, and we are in a very special place tonight, Shelbyville, Tennessee, and this is Tennessee walking horse country, and I'm here with Anita Grosvenor. Is that right, Anita?
Gravener.
Gravener, I was close. And Anita is actually a quarter horse trainer. But Anita, you said in this arena right here, what is shown here usually?
Well, this is the home of the Walking Horse Celebration, and they have their World Show here every year. And Shelbyville is known for the Tennessee Walking Horse.
All right. But what caught our attention this weekend, it's the Mule and Donkey Show. But I believe it's called something, the 21st anniversary, or 21st annual
Mule and Donkey Championship Celebration, yes.
And I read a little information about you, and you, in addition to the quarter horses, last year a friend asked you to train his mule, and you sort of fell in love with it, didn't you?
Yes. Yes, Buddy Pope sent his mule to me for training for 2 months before the show to prepare him for his classes, and I knew that after the show that she would be going back to his barn where she lives, and I knew that I would miss the fact that there wasn't a mule now in my barn. So when we came to the show, we decided to look around and find a mule to buy of our own to fill that void spot in our barn, and we did. We bought Miss Betty.
All right. In addition to Miss Betty over here, we have Steve. And I can't.
Well said.
And they bought Betty last year. But interestingly, I noticed you had said something about the mule, and you said their reputation is undeserved, you think.
It is. I think everybody will say a mule is stubborn. That just goes along with the mule.
That's what you always hear.
That is true. I think that they're actually very smart, and I think that you can't push them into doing things. They have a mind of their own, and it has to be their idea to do it. So working with them is a little different. You can't force them to do it, and I think that's why people think they're stubborn. Once you try to push them into it, they say, no, it's not my idea, and they're not going to do it. And I just think they're super smart.
Oh, great. Our Walker County mules, those beautiful painted mules. Of course, there was one thing that you said. Oh, it reminded you are an art major.
Yes, I am. I do illustrations, and I love to do horse portraits. But I got so busy with horses and training them and doing lessons with my students, I don't have a lot of time for my art. But I did notice how beautifully painted those mule statues were.
Oh, thank you. I know the artists in Walker County will appreciate that praise, but you're going to have to start getting some time to paint the mules. Yeah. Well, the horses, you like that best.
Well,
yeah.
That was before I had a mule, so I'll have to do some mules as well.
Anita, I understand from Howard Graham down in Alabama that told me about this show. He said that the mother of a mule is always a horse, and the father is a donkey. But I'm kind of curious about the sizes of the mules. You know, our mules in Walker County in the mining industry especially, they were short to work in the mines. Tell us about the stature of the mule.
Well, it's depending on what mare and what breed mare that you're crossing over with your donkey. So if you're breeding a smaller mare, if it's a paint mare, a paint would be the big spotted horses. Have you seen those? The big color. You'll get a mule of that color. And if you breed a draft mare, which is a big horse, any breed like a Clydesdale, you'll end up with a big mule. So you can get them in all different colors, on all different sizes, and all different shapes. If you breed a gaited mare, you'll get a gaited mule. Miss Betty, she comes from a horse, and she actually trots. But if you bred a walking horse mare, you would get a gaited mule.
Well, Betty, what was her parent? What do you know about the horse that her mother and father, how big they were?
No, we don't have a pedigree on her. I would guess she might have some quarter horse in her because she's big and she's stocky. But you can cross them with a thoroughbred, and you would get more of a lean, thinner, more refined mule, and it's to do with the fact that they're actually two species, the donkey and the mare, the horse mare.
That's what I was told. Anita, what is the life of a mule? How many years?
It would be about the same as a horse.
And that is how many years?
It can go up to 30. Usually your smaller animals will have a longer lifespan than the bigger ones, similar to dogs.
But yet a dog is like 12, 15 years if you're lucky.
Right. Your bigger breed dogs, maybe 10 years. So with the horses, it's the same. Ponies will live longer than horses.
A little pony will live longer. Would they ever live longer than 30 years, a pony?
Ponies, yeah, ponies can do 35, 38 years maybe, if they're lucky. And
oh, that is great.
yes.
Anita, explain this again. This is a gaited mule.
Yes, this is a gaited mule. So the left front and back leg move together, and the right front and back leg move together at the same time.
That's a gaited.
Yes, I can find you a trotted one. Let's see. Jogging. Okay, and so this one is trotting. So the opposite pairs are going to move together. So the front left, back right will move at the same time, and the front right and the back left move at the same time. So that's trotting or jogging.
All right. just connected up with Howard Graham. Howard has a mule farm, and he's the one that told us about this mule horse show. Howard, we asked you earlier now, is it okay to come out and visit on Monday?
Absolutely. I'll be delighted to have you.
Okay, so those mining mules, they bred them specifically to be that small?
That's correct. They bred them to be small. And so we breed them to be big for work animals, and we breed a medium-sized animal for what you see going on here. This is a Western pleasure class.
Oh, that's what we were wondering. We just don't know anything about it, but they're beautiful, and they are so well trained, Howard.
These people have put a lot of time and a lot of hours into training these animals. This just doesn't happen. It takes a lot of hard work. Now, this is a Western pleasure class, and you're also going to see coming up some gaited classes. So you're going to see mules that are basically doing the same thing that the Tennessee walking horses would be doing.
Howard, now what is going on right now with the mules lined up that way?
When these mules came in for this class, the judge put them on the rail, and he sent them around the arena. They were required to do 3 different gaits. They were judged on the rail. They judged in both directions. And now that the judges have looked them over, they've brought them to the middle. They will score their cards. They'll turn that in up here, and they'll announce the winners. And as they announce the winners, they'll come out in order of their placing.
So they were judged, and now they're going to be announcing the winners.
That's correct. They are now placing them.
Howard, now in the other competition, a couple of those mules had long tails, especially that white mule that's so beautiful.
That's not a typical tail for a mule. What they have done is they have platted tail pieces into those tails to make them fuller and longer, and that is allowed by the rules to insert those tail pieces. And those things can be rather expensive, up to maybe $500 for a real nice one.
I can't believe that they would do a.
They're made from real horsehair, and there are regulations as to how they have to be attached, and so you have to go right by the rules. But it's legal. Hind feet.
Yes.
Okay. That's called a sock. Now, if that white came all the way up to the joint, or to what we call the hock, it would be called a stocking. If it were a little shorter, it'd be called a boot.
#1 winner of this class.
That's correct.
Now that's number 4, I believe.
Yes, that's Bubbaloo.
The winner is doing her victory lap. Is that what you said?
That's correct.
Howard, you were saying they've been directed to do what now coming in?
Into the ring at a jog. That's the gait that the mule is currently in, and that's the mule we were talking about earlier with the tailpiece.
Oh yes, I see that. Yes, isn't that beautiful?
Beautiful, it sure is. This is a Western pleasure class.
And that is a gait they're doing now. Gait?
That's correct.
You know, our attention getter with mules, of course, was our beautiful painted, the artistic mules that are sitting all over Walker County. We love them. Now, Howard, what are these 2 right here?
This is a class for flat shod. That means the feet are not built up. Flat shod, gaited mules. It's permissible to ride either in English or Western attire. And you can see that we're about, not quite half and half. I guess we got a few more Western than we have English. They're currently showing at a walk. This class, they show at a walk, and they show it at what they call favorite gait, and that's just whatever speed is the particular rider's favorite gait. That's what they'll ask them to do next. It's not uncommon for the spectators when the mule that's their favorite passes in front of them, you'll hear them holler out a lot of times, and they're trying to call the judge's attention to their favorite. Hear people hollering when certain mules pass them. Now this class is also unique and different from the ones we've seen, because this class is for riders 50 years old or older. So there's nobody in this class under the age of 50. Now he's called favorite gate, and you'll see they're going to speed up. Some of them are going faster than others, but that's legal because this is favorite gate. So what each person is trying to do is show his particular mule in the most favorable way that he can.
Now again, Howard, those in English dress are riding that style, English pose. And again, what is that?
They're riding in English clothes with English tack. Those that are riding Western are riding Western saddles with a Western tack. It's just a totally different style.
The Western.
Well, in the Western pleasure class, they're only gonna walk, jog, and lope. But in this particular class, this is for a gaited mule version of that. That's just another gait.
Now I believe you said this lady in pink here.
She won last year. She won this event last year, I remember.
Well, we'll see if she wins it again this year.
We will. Now, judges slowed them back down to a walk. And the next thing he'll do is he'll reverse them. So she's actually calling the number out.
Now reverse, please. Reverse and continue.
Here comes the turn.
So when they reverse, they just turn around and go the opposite direction.
That's right. And you'll see these riders watching these judges because they know the judge is not looking at them all the time, and every time they get an opportunity to get in a position to do something to call attention to themselves, you'll see them do that, which is what you would want to do. They're each trying to show their own animal in the best way they can. Now in this class you're allowed to ride with two hands. In the Western pleasure class that we saw earlier, you can only ride with one hand.
I didn't even notice that, Howard. Boy, she's doing a great job.
When we see another Western pleasure,
I like the fact that they're 50 or over.
that's right, it's 50. Another thing that's very interesting about this is, since judging is such a subjective thing, there are actually 3 judges here. Each judge individually and separately will score all of these animals and place them. One of the 3 judges, and it happens on a rotating basis and nobody knows which one it is at which time, is designated as a senior judge. So in case of a tie, his vote carries a little bit more weight to break the tie. But they'll use a composite of all 3 judges' scores to determine who the winner is. So that makes it fairer.
Oh, that does.
In that it's not just the subjective opinion of one individual. All right, the judges called them in, and as you see, all 3 judges are there. As they go down the line, and come to each animal, the rider's supposed to have his mule step backwards. See as they go down the line, each one of them steps back.
My goodness, Howard, they're well trained, aren't they?
They are. They are. This is the point at which they are demonstrating to the judge their ability to have their animals back. So everything we saw on the rail was in forward. Now they're showing that these animals were back.
Amazing. You know, of course, mules, aren't they harder to train than horses?
I think so. I think so. Mules live longer. They mature later than horses. They inherit a lot of the characteristics from the donkey side of the family. And it's a process it takes. It's a slower process. Takes more patience to deal with mules than it does horses. You can't really intimidate a mule. They're just too smart. They're too smart for that.
Well, and do they get that from the donkey or the horse?
They get some of both, but they get that trait, I think, from the donkey side of the family.
Really?
Yes. And for example, most of the traits that you see in equines are survival characteristics. And one of the things I always say about this is they don't ride horses in the Grand Canyon, because a horse is likely to do something really dumb, be frightened, may jump off the cliff. The mule is not going off that cliff. He's not going off that cliff because he loves you, but because he loves himself. And he's not going to do anything that hurts him. That's what makes it more difficult to train a mule. A mule has to understand and believe that what you're asking it to do is not going to hurt him. If he thinks it's going to hurt him, you can't make him do it.
This is number 1, Howard, right here, right?
That's one. He's riding Western. He's going to wait till they get some of these animals out of the ring, and then he'll do his victory lap.
So number 2, 96, is doing the victory run now.
He's doing his victory lap, yes.
My goodness.
Time it started. He's going down and he has to turn the barrel. As he goes by, he picks up the flag. When he comes back across, his time starts, and then
Oh my goodness, Howard, now explain this again.
there's many women, or more women, competing in these events than there are men.
Now, is that a girl, Howard?
Yes, it is. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of these gals are really, really good riders. .310 seconds, so that's the time to beat. She beat the first time by a second.
Now, this is the racing.
It's called a flag race. It's called a flag race. You go down, get the flag, and come back. All right. This mule's slower than those first two.
Gosh, I thought it was faster.
No, it'll be slower. Yeah. This friend of mine riding this mule. This is a real country boy here. Come on, Terry. Didn't do it. Good turn. See that, if you notice, the two mules that had the best time made the closest turn around the barrel. Where these other people lost the time was they made a lot wider turn. They went a lot further out toward the rail. The shortest and quickest way to go is straight down and straight back. So that gal that had the best time, she made a really sharp turn.
We already know the winner because of the best time, right?
Right, but they'll formally give them their ribbons.
And you said that was a girl.
It is, yeah. Excellent, right?
Okay, Howard, tell us about this event.
We walked out here to the mule pool, and they have different classes. Now, we're witnessing a class here where all these mules are relatively the same size, but they've all been weighed. See, these mules are really fired up. They know what's coming. They know they're going to be asked to pull that weight. And that hooking can be a real dangerous job. A lot of people have lost fingers and things trying to make that hook. Competition first began, there were basically no blocks on the shed. And each competitor is allowed to pass a certain weight, so he doesn't have to pull it if he knows it. That was a good pull. That was a good pull.
Howard, this has been so informative. We're so glad we came and had you here to tell about it, and we're looking forward to seeing your farm next Monday, hopefully.
Well, thank you. It's been my pleasure more than talking about these mules.